Alright, here's my market review for April 10th. And I'll start with the higher time frame first. Now, what we had going on, we had a 3-day weekend, so the last day that was open was on Thursday the 6th, and we opened with a gap down. So we have this gap from 41.31 down to 41.0575. So the scenario I was looking at when I was getting ready to trade this morning was that this appeared to be a gap up. Scenario where there's likely to be price coming back to retest this gap up, which it did. The VPOC ended up shifting to right below that, and then we broke out of yesterday's range we broke out of Thursday's range and ended up around. Well, it's saying 41.31.50. So RTH close. Now we still have these targets, 41.63.50. There's a larger composite way back here with that, so that's another target on the way up. We have all these ones highlighted in orange. Those are NVPOCs, and they're orange because they haven't been touched yet, so those are still valid NVPOCs. You see, as far as news events, there wasn't really anything major going on. This was after RTH close. So all we had is a bunch of little one-star events that aren't a big deal. Here's this playbook. And this is kind of what we're looking at, because we opened here, so we were lower within that range of the previous day. So we had a scenario that looked very close to this one. So you can put them right next to each other. And that looks very similar. What does this say here? Yeah, we already know the IBH, IBL. Oh, it's saying broken 100% of the time, so one of them's going to get it. IBL favored by only 2%. Gap is closed only 41% of the time, and VPOC is closed only 32% of the time. So the gap fill, it was saying, was to be not as favorable. In this picture, it did fill the gap. So yeah, see, we ended up with buyers in control. I was able to see that in the order flow. And so the whole thing I was looking at was, I have these lower targets, 81, 41, 40, 10. These are just NVPOCs from previous days. There's this one up here, 6350, and that's a larger composite number. And that's coming from this larger one. You can see the outline of the box here. And this was back from February, where we had this consolidation going on. And you can see there, that's that orange line going back to here. Oh, God, this thing is annoying. Crap, I want to go right there. Okay, there. So we got the higher time frame view. Let's go down into Bookmap and check out what's going on here. So there's your market open. And there's what your gap looked like overnight, because I left my Bookmap on overnight. I kind of like to see what happened overnight on the Bookmap. So I was getting aligned towards seeing, okay, I mean, we have this VHVN and we have 4130. So I was going, okay, that seems like where that could, you know, that's not an unreasonable target. And so I went down here and you see I got an image here. And that purple the purple dashed line that you're looking at is the that initial balance high. Okay, and see, this is where I started. So this is you know, your Traders Lab IBC trade. Is we have everything on the higher time frame looking like the greater probabilities that price would move up. We have a larger, higher time frame target. We have a gap that happened, and so I was looking for the gap fill essentially. You know, so essentially here is a entry for IBC. And this is where I scaled. And here's where I exited. So we had all of this activity going on right here with these buy absorptions. We had a ask liquidity fill right here. We're reaching towards a liquidity wall. And you could call that a little stop divergence. Not really much going on with icebergs. You can see down here the stops, it's not very significant. But at that point I had a decent profit locked in, and it appeared like this was the time to get off the bus because it didn't seem like it would rotate back down into here. And maybe back down here, back down into here. And you have this liquidity sitting here. And you just had this thing went running. And so I got out there, exit, after ask liquidity fill. And buy absorption. And that's, yeah, hard to say if that's really, it's a little bit of a stop run, but you can see a few things, look, a little head and shoulders, which could mean nothing. And it could support here, go higher. And go to that in just a minute. Just wanted to label this. It's kind of interesting. I'm going through the screenshot as I label it. see, we got this little stop run here. So we have this stop run to the mid. What else do we have there? So we have, I'm going to take this, label that as so this is, so we had that. See, we had this fill right here. So now we're going to go down. Okay, so there's the image that I'm using basically. See if I can yeah, so that's a zoomed in view of what I was looking at earlier. Oh, no, that's from a different day. Okay, so I'm going to save that. You know, I walked through what I did on the screenshot. I'm trying to shorten up these videos a little more so I can get to the point a little quicker. But, you know, we look at one of the better moves of the entire day. I would have liked to have gotten on board. Now, okay, so I was active at 8:10. Let's scroll this thing down. Here's 8:10. So I was right in here. And I made it to right around up in here. Yeah, that's where I got out at. And see, we had this ask liquidity, and this is starting to fire off. We're starting to get up here. So I had already locked in a reasonable profit for that trade. So I was going to get out and wait for another trade. And I could kind of see this one coming here. This was your choice trade for the day right here. This is anybody who got in on this. This was excellent opportunity here. You went past all of this stuff. We typically have retail stops. I mean, look at their 780. You're getting exhaustion. You're right down here. Some of this stuff transacted. Then it had a then higher time frame. We were still looking at it having a. I was still looking for that gap fill at the time, and the rest of the day it just kind of went up. Other than here, this is like you don't want to really operate in here. It's not much range, like 24 to 32. It's yeah, it's I want to get on board with a bigger move and be done with the trade quicker, and not have to sit here for an hour just gnawing on the edge of the desk. Just you want to be in and out of these things as quick as you can. You want to see, okay, here's it's going, and I'm trying to get on something. I'm not trying to make a multi-million-dollar deal here. trying to get a few $100 or maybe $1,000 out of the day. Like $1,000 would be just be absolutely ecstatic to have that. Even a few $100, that's, if I can get 6 to 10 points, can call it a day there. Or hopefully at least 8 points. But like 10 points, I can call that a pretty solid day. If I can get more than that, that's excellent. That can absorb some of my inevitable goof ups. I mean, if you got in right around here, I just kind of looked away for 30 seconds or whatever at some other screen. And it was probably while I was doing my moderating stuff on Bookmap, and then this thing just flipped around here. And that was, I mean, if you could catch, look at that, 4,102.75. Yeah, so you're talking, this is a short. I mean, you got from 906 or something. So I guess this was still over an hour. But it was pretty smooth sailing there up until you hit this. And I really got to get this Cloud Notes working with my IRT stuff. This IRT, it's just like not user friendly at all. You have to really screw around with it a lot. But yeah, I think that, and then look, point of control shifted further up. It didn't go up to where 33 is. This VHVN. But came back and it took most of that gap. This whole movement here basically tested the gap again, and then this went up past the gap. Yeah, and then we look at what's the potential here for tomorrow. Well, where's some VPOCs at? You see, this should all be set to where I have the yeah, extend these naked POCs. So I got that. So that's kind of our target that we have going up for now, is that 6350. It's that micro composite that I drew. There's a big consolidation back there, back in February. So kind of looking at, so I mean, it could bounce off here. The economy's in a very shaky, very bad situation. So we're global, bunch of geopolitical events are going very badly for the entire world right now. And, so this could bounce off and just drop like a rock. Or it could come around here, wiggle, 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 come back down, or it could go back up. There's no way I'm gonna know. I'm mainly concerned with, I'm day trading, so I'm concerned with what's happening today. And you can get a fairly good idea of what's happening today, and that's, it's all fractal. It happens in all time frames, but I'm trying to get this stuff simple to where I can go, okay, here, like today, I got the idea of it, here I went, well, here's this price, we just had a big weekend, why not a gap? Why not have this thing test the gap? And you see that whole thing there, that tested the gap, now this punched out of the gap. And you know, we have this thing in the way as an obstacle, and we have 6350 as a target going further up. So I guess that's pretty good for now. I'm going to wrap it up. It's 20 minutes. I wanted to keep these under 20 minutes. So I'm going to end this video here. So good night, and I'll have another video tomorrow.